Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. If you are one of the lucky chosen few that received a little piece of paper when you came in, come on up. Come on up here.
I thought I won the lottery.
You can just line up and
Right? That's what I said.
over here so that you're on the screen. And each of you are just going to read your quote. You're going to read your quote and then have a seat. So you can go first.
Do you have to say who said it?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, and you want to look at the camera.
Okay, here we go. Cooperation is a thorough conviction that nobody can get there unless everybody gets there.
Okay, thank you. You can keep it.
I am a member of a team and I rely on the team. I defer to it and sacrifice for it because the team, not the individual, is the ultimate champion.
Excellent.
No employer today is independent of those about him. He cannot succeed alone, no matter how great his ability or capital. Business today is more than ever a question of cooperation.
Thank you.
No one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it.
Thank you.
There is immense power when a group of people with similar interests gets together to work toward the same goals.
Thank you.
If everyone helps to hold up the sky, then one person does not become tired.
Thank you.
If you want to be incremental, you better be competitive. If you want to be exponentially better, be competitive, cooperative, be engaged.
Thank you. Thank you all. That evidently took more courage than I thought it would, but I appreciate those who got up here to do that. So, what mission value do you think we're talking about today?
Cooperation.
Yay! Cooperation, teamwork, yes, cooperation. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the 8 Beatitudes of the Gospel. They begin, as you may know, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of God. It has been jokingly said that there is a 9th Beatitude that says, blessed are they who mind their own business, for they won't get into trouble. But today I'd like to change that 9th Beatitude to be, blessed are they who cooperate or are engaged. They shall be happier and more productive. Obviously, our town hall this quarter is focusing on the mission value of cooperation. Can anybody name the other 4 values? You can cheat by looking on the back of your name tag. Anybody? Where are we sitting here, people? We're in the chapel.
Spirituality.
Spirituality.
Are y'all gonna make me name it? Come on, give a sister a lift.
Excellence. Thank you. Excellence. Spirituality. Excellence. What are the other 2? One starts with a C. Compassion. Thank you. And the last one starts with an R.
Respect.
Very good. Okay. I'm sure that all of you also are aware that we are a 5-star rated facility.
Absolutely.
Yes. Amen to that?
Amen.
Yes. And that is due in large part because most of us daily, either at home or here, have a cooperative spirit. You like to engage with other people, and that's very important. So as we think about our mission values, excellence, respect, compassion, and spirituality, it would seem to me that all of those values also require a spirit of cooperation. To be willing to not only contribute to our own ideas when appropriate and needed, but also to respect others' ways of doing things that maybe aren't our preference. And we do that for the sake of our team, the sake of the reputation of the home, for those who come to visit, our families, but especially our residents. There are many little ways we contribute every day, and once in a while, big ways that we contribute. and our cooperation daily makes a big difference. You won't have to do it all by yourself. Plus, you know the saying, 2 heads are better than 1. Sure, you can come up with different ways to get the job done, and it will be done more quickly if you were doing it by yourself, if you have somebody to cooperate with. But if we look a little bit deeper at that, teamwork or cooperation also fosters synergy. You may have heard that term. I heard that term and I'm going, what the heck is that? So synergy is when 2 or more agents working together produce a result not attainable by either one individually. So where 1 plus 1 usually equals 2, 1 plus 1 might equal 3 if you have synergy involved. People in general desire very much to be part of something, to be committed to something, a cause or a project, by creating environments that foster teamwork. Individuals become part when they belong and become engaged. The result of synergy is increased productivity because together we can do more. And not just because we have more people, more hands doing the work, but because we value the diversity that having more than 2 people bring to the table, the different ideas that people bring, the opinions that people bring, and the solutions that many people working together can come up with, whereas opposed to just if you're doing it on your own. So, to summarize or to think about it, cooperation and engagement in the workplace, they create an atmosphere where people build relationships together because, like Mary Haynes always likes to say, we are in the relationship business, are we not? Yes. It results in happier and more productive people that you're working with because, you know, if you get along with your team and you work together well, it just makes for a happier day. Synergy, if you have 1 plus 1 equals 3, it works, you have a better and higher functioning team that you're working with. And also, it brings about a bunch of diversity of ideas, not just you're plugging in, you're digging in with just the one idea you got. You got a lot more ideas out there when you're talking to other people. So here at Nazareth Home, we do value the beatitude of, the 9th beatitude of cooperation. From the kitchen to the dining room to administrative offices to housekeeping, and hopefully also in the pastoral care department. On behalf of those we serve, our residents, we are so grateful for each of the cooperative spirits that you all bring here every day. Your teams, your ideas, when you share who you are and what you are, that's really what makes Nazareth Home great, our people. So thank you, thank you. I know we get up here and say thank you every time we're here, but it's because we're grateful. Thank you for your spirit of cooperation and all that you bring here every day. You all are the best. Thanks. Erin.
All right. I just have a couple of items, not a bunch. One of the things that we're trying to do for employee engagement, change things up a little bit, is to have a monthly food truck. So at least once a month, we're trying to have a food truck here on first shift. The hours are typically from 11 to 2. If for some reason those hours don't work because you have lunch at 10:30, something like that, please give us some feedback. So far, it seemed to work, relatively well, but if that's not necessarily working because you break earlier, let us know so we can adjust that. A couple times we'll have it twice a month, always on payday Friday, but trying to do that throughout the summer. We haven't booked all the way until September as of right now. It is tentative if something comes up with a food truck company and they need to cancel, things like that. That does happen. We had it more recently because the weather, they had to cancel prior to. But if you know somebody, been to a food truck and said, hey, have you contacted so-and-so, please let us know. Also, love that feedback. Just trying to work with some companies to, you know, offer that to our employees for some engagement. On shift, one of the biggest things I know is switching to Paycor. We have had on shift, so we have been trying to do an integration with them since before we went live on Paycor. We are close to getting that together. It's not us, it's our partners, but I did get an email right before I came in here that said that the punches should start to go over as early as Friday. Fingers crossed, I've heard that before, but this time I believe it. And then the schedules will go the next week. So you'll be able to see the same thing, because I know sometimes if you look in on shift, your schedule might look different than what's in your Paycor app. So that is something that we have been trying to work on to get rolling since we switched over. The engage points, that is another. So once we get this piece rolling, the engage will start to populate again like it had been in the past. We have revamped the program with your engage reward points, and that is something that once we get this integration, everything rolling, we will kind of discuss that program and how we've revamped it a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Hoping that starts, you know, soon. We're going to have some pretty good reward ways to kind of put your name in for a raffle to win some big prizes twice a month, you know, for turning your reward points in for that. So stay tuned. One of the other things that you may have noticed in Paycor, your attendance points. Everything from ADP has been rolled into Paycor. So the points, when you look, everything is up to date. So all of your attendance points, all of your tardies, all of that is up to date in Paycor. So some people looked and were like, oh, I was at 6, but now I'm at 11. That's because all of those points are in the system. Our policy changed in June of 23. So that policy is still effective with your attendance, and nothing has changed with that. They are still calculating if you get 12 attendance points, occurrences, and then 12 leave early or tardies. The only thing that's different is when you look, all of it rolls into one bank, so you might have 15 points. That's because the tardies and the occurrences are all in one. But when we look at it, we can break down to see what is what. Those points still, they roll off after 12, it's a rolling calendar, so those roll off after 12 months. So if I was absent today, that would not roll off until March of next year. That has not changed. That's when we changed that in June of 23. That process is still what it is. One of the other reminders with punching, everybody loves the mobile punch app, so that we have on Paycor. Please make sure your GPS is turned on at all times if you want to do the mobile punching. Also, you need to make sure you're punching inside the building, okay? We get an error every time you punch out of bounds. So we get an error that says missing GPS location, punch out of bounds. So we have to physically go in there and clear those errors every single time. So we've been on Paycor for a while now. Everybody should know you have to be inside the building to punch. So just think about it. If I'm sitting in my car and I punch in and they need me on the floor and they're looking for me, I obviously can't help because I'm outside. So in emergent situations, things like that, we're really not in the building, which we're here to serve our residents, if we're sitting in our car punching in. The circle does not, we can't go in, pull our car in the circle, punch, and then go park our car, okay? We really have to be in the building. So we're gonna kind of start cracking down a little bit heavier on that. We talked about it initially, we've talked about it. Now from this point forward, we're really going to start holding in each department you accountable for that if you're not inside the building. So that's one of the big things. It's very time consuming for our timekeepers to have to go in and change all of those and clear all of those exceptions for the punching purposes. And then lastly, please refer any of your friends, anybody that you worked with before. Our vacancy list, which Mary is going to show, is great. Our numbers are looking wonderful on this campus. We still have openings over at Clifton, so that referral bonus is for both campuses. So if you know anyone that is looking potentially in any of the departments, refer them. Worst case scenario, they can go for an interview, see if it's a right fit, and then you get a bonus, for that, the referral bonus. So it's both campuses. We would love for you to have, those referrals come in. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Erin. Thanks, Bridget, and thanks to the volunteers. I'm Mary Haynes. I'm happy to see you. I want to tell you a few things that I hope you know, but it never hurts to hear things more than once. So I want to talk about a few things that are going to take place for the remaining months of 2024. So here we are in March, and we have a few months to really kind of live into this budget. We have until September 1 to live into this budget, and we're really not where I'd like to be. So I'm trying to work with everybody who works close with me to keep us focused on what we need to be doing for the remainder of 24. But we also are going to be really busy for the remainder of 24, starting new things. The first thing I want to talk to you about is a program that we've started that we hope will increase our friends and supporters. And that's a program that's called Envision Our Future. We have been studying up on what many organizations do to increase their friend and donor base. And there's a method, and we're trying on that method. Carrie and Melissa spent a lot of time with me reading on books, studying up, watching videos, trying to be an expert on how to do this. We rolled out our first program in November. And then a couple of weeks ago in February, we had our second. I think the second was better than the first, and I'm hoping the third will be better than the second. So it's a process, but as you know, we can't have too many friends. Our position in the community remains strong, but look around and you see a lot of failure in the business that we're in. We're seeing more failure than we're seeing success. Would you agree? Whether you agree or not, just please take my word for it. It's a really tough time. So we can't have too much communication. We can't have too much support. We can't build too much community. Our reputation is on the line every day in all that we say and do. So I want to thank all of you for your love and care of everyone who comes here, for your kindness to each other. That's the only way that we have these results, are your spirit at work. So when I give this Envision Your Future talk, for those who have heard me give this talk, a large number of the precious minutes I spend selling you. And I am asking you to sell each other every day that you're here. Baby boomers are turning 77 this year. I'm a boomer, I'm not quite 77, but we were raised on I think I can, Captain Kangaroo. We raised our children on guess who? Mr. Rogers. We were raised on kindness. That's in our bones. And so the lack of kindness that each of us are confronted with every day, I think it's hard on all of us, but I'm telling you, it's hard on my generation, and it could not be harder on the generation that are living here with us. So when that spirit of kindness is not in the DNA, it's a disconnect. So all of us who have that spirit, we just have to work overtime, spreading it around and making sure that we are all giving it and selling each other, lifting each other up all day long. So that envision our future, we're doing it every couple of months. We're playing with it here, but my goal is to take it on the road. We need to go out of here. If we want to have open houses and have tours and show people what we're doing, that's great. But our story really needs to go out. And so that is something that a few of us will be busy on this year. New programs. You've heard me talk about the renovation at Clifton of 12 personal care rooms into skilled nursing. We have the certificate of occupancy now. We have a little more painting to do. We'd hope to be ready in March. I really think it's going to be April 1. It's kind of like painting your kitchen at home. When you paint one wall, you're like, this is making Melissa's look pretty shabby over here. So we're doing a little more work than what we thought, but we'll be ready with that in April. So in April 24, we'll have 12 more rooms at Clifton. Then you've heard me talk about home care. That's where we will bring the programs that go on here under this roof out to somebody's house. We'll do a soft opening with that, kind of playing with the model, helping people who are discharging from our recovery to home to go home with a little bit of our help. We're going to start that in June. We'll have a bigger rollout of that by August. We're also going to start another program that is kind of like a care management and assessment. We'll start that sometime in the summer. And I think that's it on my list. I know it's not. We have 12 more apartments that we can renovate at Clifton. And we're going to start on that in a few months. It takes 120 days to do them. That's how long it took us to do the first ones. So we think that will be ready September 24. So development, envision our future, 12 new rooms, home care, a navigation guide, care management program, and apartments. So that's what 24 looks like. So thank you for all that you will do to support those programs. Cooperation, Bridget talked about. Bridget and I met, wherever you are, Bridget, before we came in here, and I was telling her, I was interviewed for a podcast a few weeks ago, and that's what got this engagement on my mind. You know, you hear engagement all the time. Oh, well, great. Well, what does that mean anyway? I don't know. So the guy asked me, you know, he goes, what does engagement mean to you? How do you evaluate engagement? My answer was, I think good leadership makes for engagement. And after I said that, I started trying to back it up. So I did a Google search, and guess what? Harvard Business Review agreed with me that the two outcomes of quality leadership are, of course, results, which you have to have, but the second of that is engagement. So as all of you know, we've always thrown our hat in the ring in Top Workplace, Business First, Career Journal, and that's not just because we like bragging rights. There's nothing wrong with bragging rights, but I don't think bragging rights give anybody any results, right? The reason we do it, as I've said a million times, so you're not hearing anything new this afternoon, it builds the public trust. We need to hold ourselves up under the microscope and let it be measured that we're actually living the way we say we're living, or we're not. So we measure it. We're gonna do that again. I know you may be a little bit like me. We got a little fatigue on surveys, but I mention it here because it's not for us. It's for the greater good. Everybody who wakes up every morning, just like we do, with the commercials, is your mother in the nursing home? Are they not doing what they're supposed to be? They can't be trusted. That's why we do it, right? It's what I call a myth buster. We do it because we want the public trust. So, back to the baby boomers, back to Captain Kangaroo. We were all taught that life is much better when you're in a positive environment. I still believe that's true. I think positive environments breed results, they breed growth. If people believe in what they're doing, they have meaning at work, I know that Mary Lou's gonna back me up if I mess up. Carrie knows I'm gonna back her up if she messes up, because we're all gonna mess up. But if we know that somebody has our back and the talk is gonna be positive, that's gonna increase community. Our mission statement says, out of the gate, we are a welcoming community. So our business, keep in mind, what helps people helps business. Our business is helping each other, helping the people we serve, and growing community. That's how we will all grow. So the things I always share with you, this statement I hope is still true, but I haven't checked since last week, but I could have told you last Friday with all certainty that we had not used nursing agencies since January 16th. Clap. Right. That is a feat. So thanks to Tiffany, Laura, Kim Hobson, who paved a lot of this, but they are so on, and you know what they've been on? What we're talking about right now. They are tried and true on responding to the random push questions each of you get on Engage. So whether you're in food or environment, Tiffany Terriaco for the last 12 months has been reading every one of those and calling another person's supervisor just in case they didn't see it, to make sure that team member gets that call. And in my view, that is 50% of the results right here. We started last January, that number was 19. My vision really stinks. I think it's 6.9. So the progress is unbelievable. And the reason we have that retention is exactly what we're talking about here. Kindness, welcoming community, results. These are not, people talk about soft skills, they're measurable, folks. They're measurable. You can tell when the right stuff is in an environment by the results. EVS 1, you know, again, what does everybody say about Nazareth Home? Jennifer, you hear it all the time. What do people say when they come in the front door?
Oh my gosh, it smells so good in here.
Yeah. And then some of them say, it doesn't smell like a nursing home.
Yes.
Right? Do they tell you that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is really good stuff. So what Erin reminded all of you, referral bonus, referral bonus. The other thing we're doing is we're sending people to CNA school off-site. I kept my notes. We cannot do enough classes really to keep enough folks in the swim, right? So we want to make sure that anybody that wants to go to CNA school can go. We want to send you there, and we have a job for you. So anybody that you know that wants to be a CNA, because that's really where our main positions are. The main open positions are CNAs. Okay. At Clifton, we're still stuck on that number we were stuck on there last January. I think their number last January was 19, now it's 17. We need help there. So help a brother and sister out. I always tell you this because I know, as I always say, I know you feel like you're working very, very hard. You are working very, very hard. Some days you could do with more help. But here's what I want you to know. We are so far above the benchmark. Kentucky, 3 hours and 55 minutes. We got a good solid hour more than the Kentucky average. We pay at the top of the market. We staff at the top of the market. Our results are at top of the market. Refer your friends and neighbors to work here. Believe. I want to give you enough facts that you believe. Hopefully your experience makes you believe. And on and on, it speaks for itself. Same at Clifton. We staff to the top of the market. Pinnacle is the company that we use that does our family and consumer patient satisfaction. Last year we received this, again this year, based on their national experience. We get an award from them for high satisfaction. Again, that's a result, that's a measurement, that's a direct measurement of your communication with people. Because people don't care if it looks nice, people don't care if it looks clean, people don't care if the food is good, if folks are not what? Nice. And care and communicate. So that's what that measure is. And then lastly, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do this again. I thank you for that. I know it's a little bit of a hassle, but please do it because it's gonna help the people we serve to feel safer as they come here. And I think that's what we're all invested in. We want the people, when they come in the front door, to feel safe and they can trust us. And that's a measure of that. So thanks for everything you're doing. To all of you at home, thanks for listening in. And I'll hang around for any question you have of me. So thanks. You are dismissed.